snowing. It is snowing. Daming snow.
That is what we do at Morning Edition. We make it work constantly, day after day.
Well, thanks for putting your heart into your work. Thanks for the power for being so supportive of our people.
And I want to do one last thank you if I can, and I'm going to tell you a really crazy
Miguel of
story, okay?
Sheltry,
So over
salamat.
Thanksgiving, I was visiting my mom. I told her about my decision to move on, and she said, Noelle, I started listening to Morning Edition the year you were born on WAMC in upstate New York 40 years ago, and it hit me, as it often does, that it is the millions of listeners in this very special club that anyone can join. They're the people for whom we do all of this at all hours of the day so joyfully. I will miss them. You are listening to Morning Edition from NPR News. Our theme music was inspired by BJ Liederman. I'm Noelle King.
I'm Steve Inskeep.
This is CPR News, 90.1 FM KCFR Denver, 1490 AM KCFC Boulder, on HD at 90.1 FM at CPR.
Salamat, Rai.
And on your smart speaker.
Snowing.
So play CPR News.
Support for CPR comes from The Gathering Place, assisting women and transgender individuals through every step of their journey, from homelessness to stability. Learn how to help this giving season at tgpdenver.org.
Support comes from Molly's Spirits, helping people stock up on holiday spirits through contactless curbside pickup and delivery from locations in Lakeside, Greenwood Village, and a sister store in Longmont. Learn more at mollysspirits.com.
Support comes from the Children's Museum of Denver at Marzico Campus with the new outdoor experience, Snow Day.
It's Morning Edition from NPR News. Pennsylvania hospitals are overwhelmed by COVID cases, and a doctor there tells us of a fifth wave of the virus. I'm Steve Inskeep.
And I'm Noelle King. Demand is up for a particular type of coal. We'll explain why. Coming up, we hear from Margrethe Vestager, the EU's chief of competition. She's taken on powerful tech companies like Google as they're accused of hindering competition. And on StoryCorps, a man who had to fight for the right to play Santa at Macy's. It's Friday, December 10th. Raven Simone is 36 today. And the news is next.
Live from NPR News, I'm Corva Coleman. Forecasters are bracing for another eye-popping inflation report this morning. NPR's Scott Horsley reports that prices have been climbing at their fastest pace in decades.
Consumer prices in October were up 6.2% from a year ago. When the Consumer Price Index for November comes out this morning, analysts expect to see an even bigger jump. The prices of energy and used cars have been among the big factors driving inflation higher. While there are some signs of relief on the horizon, other costs, like housing, could keep inflation elevated for months to come.
Hadlo ko
The
mag-drive
Federal
is no.
Reserve has promised to use its tools if necessary to rein in high prices. And many forecasters now expect the central bank to start raising interest rates next year. We could get more clues about that strategy when the Fed's policy committee meets next week. Scott Worthley, NPR News, Washington.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is recommending Pfizer's COVID-19 booster shots for people aged 16 and 17. They need to be at least 6 months out from their second dose of the vaccine. The CDC is tracking the Omicron variant of the coronavirus, but NPR's Allison Aubrey says the Delta variant is responsible for nearly all of the virus infections in the U.S.
The rise, I'd say, is most notable in parts of the Northeast and the Great Lakes region. As hospitalizations rise, the governors
Bigyan
of
shout out sa
Maine and
lahat
New
na
York
nandyan.
have
Sorry,
called
hindi
on
ko kayo
National Guard for
maano
help.
shout out ang
Michigan,
pangalan.
Vermont,
Oh, wow.
Pennsylvania also have high hospital admission rates, and areas
ko
of the
mababasa.
Southwest too, including parts of Arizona and New Mexico, have seen
Focus
increased
sa road.
admissions as well.
NPR's Allison Aubrey reporting. President Biden and other dignitaries will attend today's memorial service for Senator Bob Dole. NPR's Windsor Johnston reports the former Senate Majority Leader and Republican presidential nominee died this week at the age of 98.
Dole served in Congress for 36 years, first in the House and then as a senator. He dedicated much of his political career advocating for veterans and helping to pass the Americans with Disabilities Act in 1990. Dole was awarded 2 Purple Hearts and a Bronze Star after he was severely wounded in combat during World War II. Lawmakers have spent the week recounting their time with Dole on Capitol Hill. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer called the late senator an extraordinary patriot who dedicated his life to public service. President Biden, who served alongside Dole for 25 years in the Senate, described him as a giant of our history. Windsor Johnston, NPR News, Washington.
A British court has ruled WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange may be extradited to the U.S. to face spying charges. The decision overrules a lower court. Lawyers for Assange say he is at risk of attempting suicide. The WikiLeaks founder faces charges for publishing secret U.S. military documents a decade ago. This is NPR News.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Noon, a personalized weight loss program designed to give people knowledge to set new goals and the tools to stick to them for good. Learn more at noom.com. And the Annie E. Casey Foundation.
Sir Tiger Loic
This is
TV.
CPR News. I'm Mike Lamb. Governor Jared
Big love
Polis
shout
says he's
out
opened
at the floor
legislation next
TV.
year that enshrines a woman's right to an abortion.
Big
in
love
state
shout out
law.
Kuya
CPR's Brenda
Jablas
Burton reports.
TV.
Democratic lawmakers want to put abortion access into
Big
state
love
law.
shout out to Reflows TV. Big love shout out to Ned Dalwata.
Overturn Roe v. Wade.
Big love shout out AC Talamera.
That he's open to having that discussion about protecting access through
Big love shout out Baby Boss Summer. Huwag kalimutan yung diaper bago matulog. Gantihan lang yan, bes.
The legislative session begins in January.
Miguel Ab shout out Rai Moto Vlog.
More affordable homes are coming to an East Denver
Big love shout out
neighborhood.
Cecil
Five new homes in
Lencio.
Groveville and Larry Eswancia will
USA
cost more than
Vlogs.
$180,000. It's helping a predominantly Latino
Miguel Ab
area
shout
where
out
many
Mayang
longtime
Pinay.
residents have
Miguel Ab
been
shout out
displaced.
Red Mayang
Abigail
Pinay.
Acevedo grew up in the community. She's a first-time home buyer.
Miguel Ab shout out James Berman. Gising na uy.
So it's even better.
The homes are in a land trust owned by a neighborhood coalition that advocates for economic,
Big up
racial,
shout out
and
Miss
environmental
Jamis
justice. More than a
Wanderer.
month after the election, the final result is in for a bond measure
Kung
for
ano
the
lang yung
Colorado
nasa ano ko
Springs
utak ngayon.
D11 school district. It was close. CPR's Jenny Brandine has more.
The measure failed in a recount by 11 votes. It would have let the district invest
Big up shout out Lady
$350
Sha.
million into the district's master
Ingat sa
plan.
pag-drive.
That included modernizing
Snow,
schools
snow.
and renovating and
Hindi
fixing
pa
the
naman
district's
madulas,
aging
pero
buildings and infrastructure. Automatic
pag
recounts are
binilisan mo,
triggered when the
ikot
vote
ka rin.
margin is within 0.5% of the highest number of votes cast.
Ingat
The
sa
county
pag-brake.
says no vote there has ever been reversed by a recount. Jenny Brandine, CPR News.
There is some early morning snow for Denver, and that
Big up
could continue
shout
through
out
the day.
Sir Ron
It'll clear up
Cadorna
tonight.
Sapnat.
Forecast says it will be sunny and a little warmer through the weekend. Metro highs today only in the 30s. We'll be back up above 40 for Saturday. This is CPR News.
Kailangan may mga ano ko dyan eh, para
Support
babasahin
comes
yung
from
mga shout
Taos
out.
Ski Valley in New Mexico, a ski resort guided by the values of community inclusion and
Big up shout out
sustainability,
Jordan and
located in the
me.
Sagre de Cristo range of the Rocky Mountains. Learn more at skitaos.com.
Mag-update ka na oy, Jordan.
Support
Di na
comes
kita
from
nakikitang
Elevated
nagla-live.
Exchange Health Plans by Denver Health Medical Plan. Plans include specialty
Migas,
care
Miguel
and
up shout out
hospitalization coverage,
Annabelle
as well as 6 plan options to
Jones
fit different
Vlog.
needs. Enrollment at denverhealthmedicalplan.org.
The future of music and news
Uh-oh.
on CPR is strong, thanks in part to sponsors
Big
like
up
SCL
shout out
Health, a
Jen
member of
Little
Colorado Corporate
Adventure.
Partners. This program highlights Colorado organizations that make a difference in our state. SCL Health is a nonprofit health system with services ranging from integrated primary care and obstetrics to advanced trauma care and complex heart surgery. Learn how SCL Health is expanding health and wellness services for people throughout Colorado at sclhealth.org.
It's Morning Edition from NPR News. I'm Noel King.
And I'm Steve Inskeep. The CDC is now recommending booster shots of Pfizer's COVID vaccine for 16 and 17-year-olds. The
Mahirap
Pfizer
mag-shout out
COVID
ng
advisors want as
nagdadrive
many
si
people boosted
Akanta,
as
no?
possible, given the surge in Delta cases.
Kala mo, maalala mo
And, of
lahat,
course,
ha?
The threat of the even more contagious Omicron variant. NPR's Allison Aubrey is here. Allison, good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
I'll just remind people that boosters at first
Miguel up
were
shout
for
out
the elderly
Rehena.
and people with special
Ay, iwan
conditions.
ko lang
What's
yung
the
ano
case
mo,
for giving
parang
boosters to
bagin
16
benden.
and
Hindi ko
17?
Well, when
Hindi
the
ko mabasa
FDA
yung
announced
ano
the
mo.
emergency use authorization for this age group yesterday, Janet Woodcock, who's the acting commissioner, pointed to the current spread
Miguel
of
up
Delta
shout
and
Macrae's
Omicron,
vlog,
which you just
Macrae's.
mentioned,
Miguel up
and
shout
people
out
gather
Linley
with family
Macau
and
vlog.
Vaccination is the best protection we have,
Sisi Linley
including
Macau
boosters.
vlog.
Now, the FDA's Peter Marks, who is a key person in the
Dito
authorization,
yung nakakatakot
said that
pag
new evidence
snow,
overall
pag
indicates
nagdadrive,
that
lalo na pag
vaccine's
pauwi o
effectiveness is
papunta
waning
doon.
after
Nandyan,
the second
ano yan
dose.
dyan, no?
And he said the Pfizer
River
vaccine
yan
has
yan
been
dyan.
available
Ang
to 16-year-olds
dami-daming
for nearly a year.
nahulog
It's been
dyan.
shown to be safe and effective. And the agency determined that the benefits of a single booster shot for this age group outweigh the risks of myocarditis and other potential
Tapos papakita ko sa inyo yung
rare side effects. So these
homeless.
teens are now eligible
Natutulog
and
sila
are
dyan.
encouraged to
Ako,
get
walang
boosted.
mga
There's
heater.
been so much talk of myocarditis at
Nasa
Cuba, but we
labas.
need to just note, yes, it has been found in some
Papakita ko
cases,
sa,
but
yun,
it said to be
sa inyo
very
yung
few. Is that
homeless,
right?
ha?
Cases, that's right.
Okay, so let's talk
Minsan pa nga,
about the situation in which these boosters are being recommended.
natutulog sila
A
sa
surge in coronavirus cases
tindahan
in
eh,
all
sa
of the Colorado
7-Eleven.
one place
Tapos,
that's
ang snow
experiencing that
nasa ano
surge. But why
nila.
don't you give us a kind
All over the country, and that's about a 30%
Pero itong
increase
homeless na
compared to
dadaanan
just a
natin
few weeks
ngayon,
ago,
mayroon
coming
silang,
out of Thanksgiving
mayroon
holiday.
silang
If you
ano,
look at the map, the rise is most notable in
tent
parts
ba
of
yan?
the Northeast and the Great
Parang
Lakes
tent,
region.
tent.
As hospitalizations rise, the governors of Maine and New York have called on the National Guard for help. Just looking here, Michigan, Vermont, Pennsylvania also have high hospitalization rates.
dito lang
And
yata
areas
sila
of the
sa,
Southwest, too,
malapit lang sila
including
sa
parts of
river.
Arizona, New Mexico.
Kasi
They've seen
baka
increases
ang
in
ano nila,
hospital
itapon
admissions.
lang nila sa
And you know,
river.
though the threat of Omicron looms, right now 99% of the cases in the U.S. are from Delta. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky talked about the situation at a White House briefing earlier this
Ano
week.
ba mga nandito? Hello, Sisi Akanta Kalipos. Ayan, nakikita ko. Hello, Rai. Hello, Sir Tiger Loic.
The administration says about
Parang nandito yung si
7
Celine
million
Lee
booster
kanina
shots
eh.
have been given over the last week, and Walensky encouraged everyone
Yan,
who
si
is
Celine Lee.
eligible to get boosted.
Allison, we keep asking this question. Maybe we've even asked it of you in recent
Yes.
days, but we have to keep asking because we learn a little bit more every day. Is it known that, in fact, vaccines do work against the Omicron variant?
Sandali lang tong ano ko, live sa pag-drive lang
out
sisi.
from scientists in South Africa and Germany. They have tested the blood
Pag
of
nag-drive
vaccinated people
lang.
to see how well the antibodies in the plasma neutralize or fend off Omicron. These studies
Big love,
suggest
shout out
protection is
AC
diminished,
Talamera.
so scientists say vaccinated people may be vulnerable to breakthrough infections. But here's the key bit of news. The scientists expect that the vaccines will help prevent severe disease and hospitalization. So that's encouraging. Again, preliminary.
Allison, thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve.
That's NPR Health correspondent Allison Aubrey. Now, we mentioned that we're going to go to one of the places reporting a surge in cases. We're going to Pennsylvania. COVID hospitalizations in that state are up 24% in the last 2 weeks. Dr. Jeffrey Jerry is an infectious disease
Dito
expert with
focus
St.
ako
Luke's
nitong road
University
na to
Health
dahil
Network, which is
ano
based
to
in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. Glad to be with
Snow
you.
dito.
If we walked around
Konti
one of
lang
your
namadaan.
network hospitals, what would we see?
Well, what you would see is that all of our beds are full, and we have many patients that are in our emergency room that are waiting to be
Kinakabahan
admitted.
ako para akong
The bulk of
naiihi
these
lagi pag
patients,
ano,
do not have COVID.
pag snow
But the
naiihi
numbers
ako.
of patients that do have COVID are producing a tremendous burden on our entire system. And we know that this is primarily due to unvaccinated individuals.
Dito umiikot.
You said that most of the people in the hospitals are not people with COVID, but the number of people with COVID is rising.
Gusto ko
Are
lang yung
COVID
pag
patients
nag-drive na
pushing
snow,
other
gusto ko
people
lang
out of the
yung
hospital, as has happened in
gusto ko
earlier
lang yung
days?
straight yung kalsada. Ayaw ko yung umiikot.
Of
Oh
course, we don't
gosh.
know where the peak is going to be. Currently, the numbers of patients that we have with COVID in our hospital actually is higher than it was last year when we didn't
Nasa
have that
25 speed limit lang ako.
Of course, we're heading into
Papunta na nga sa 20. Paikot kasi. Natakot ako ano, baka umikot yung car.
people up. And we haven't even discussed whether the Omicron virus is going to have any implications.
I guess
All
you
of the
don't.
patients that we're seeing currently.
Okay, so you don't even know what
Ayan na
Omicron
yung
stands
mga
for.
homeless.
We did say in
Ayan na.
Pennsylvania, 24% rise in cases over
Dito
just
sila
2 weeks.
oh.
We don't look too far ahead, but
Kawawa,
suppose it
oh.
continues
Ayan,
for another
oh.
2 weeks. Another 24%.
Ayan sila, oh,
You
mga
just said the
homeless.
beds are full. What happens to your hospitals in 2 weeks?
Ayun na.
As with most hospitals, we have
Lampas na ako sa homeless.
But
Kawawa sila. Ang ginaw kaya walang ano,
we have something over.
walang heater.
We're hopeful that that won't happen. We're prepared for what we think is the
Natabunan na sila ng snow.
worst. We really don't know where this is going to peak at.
How are you advising
Bibigyan ko
people
kaya
in
sila ng
your
banners.
The main thing that we're trying to get across
Kaso
to
magalit yung company.
is due to unvaccinated individuals is for those who haven't been vaccinated. And as you know, in our state, 35 to 40% of individuals have not been vaccinated. But please do so. You're not only doing this for yourself,
Mayroong ang homeless, binigyan ko ng $20.
Secondly, as you've already indicated in your previous interview, we
Hindi
know
ko nga yun
that
na-post pa.
the
Nandyan.
effect of the vaccines and the number of population does wane after 6 months. So anyone who's actually had full vaccination before June should take advantage and get a booster. As you point out now that anyone who's over the age of 16 is eligible.
Ayan na, malapit na ako sa work.
Would you address someone in the audience so there may be
Ayan na yung
many
building,
people
oh.
who have this opinion? Someone who has said to themselves,
Ay,
or
hindi.
people, they're choosing not to get vaccinated, and they say, my choice not to get vaccinated affects no one except me. If someone tells you that, how do you...
Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat dyan.
We hear that all the time.